guys, it's John according to an FBI crime database. Today we will be covering React, a JavaScript framework, so let's get right into it. Table of contents as always. 1. What is React? 2. Characteristics of React. 3. Why should you care about React? And 4. We're going to be setting up an environment for you to develop in React. So what is React? React lets you build user interfaces or UI out of individual pieces called components, similarly to that of microservice architecture that I covered in my Docker presentation. React lets you create your own components such as thumbnail, like button, and or maybe video, and you can combine these into an entire screen, pages, and or apps. It is designed to let you seamlessly combine components written by independent people, and React was first released in 2013, developed by Jordan Walk at Facebook, and was initially released as an open source project on GitHub. It is now one of the most powerful JavaScript libraries and has active development by Facebook. So essentially the goal of React is to be able to have one or more people working on different parts of a website, and they can combine their different parts into one whole website or page or app. I'll show you an example of that later. I'll be covering 5 characteristics of React in this presentation. We're going to be doing JSX, TypeScript, hooks, components, and DOM. So first off, JSX. JSX stands for JavaScript XML. JSX is basically a syntax extension of JavaScript. It helps us to write HTML in JavaScript. It is faster than normal JavaScript as it performs optimizations while translating to regular JavaScript and instead of separating the markup and logic in separate files. React uses components for this purpose. As JSX is an expression, we can use it inside of if statements and for loops and assign it to variables and accept it as arguments or return it from functions. So I wanted to mention that because React uses JSX, it will help out to already know both a little bit about HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, but I forgot how to code, so therefore we won't be coding too much in this video, so don't worry, but that's just something for you to know about in the future in case you ever do want to try React.js. So TypeScript. TypeScript is a syntactic superset of JavaScript which adds static typing. This basically means that TypeScript adds syntax on top of JavaScript, allowing developers to add types. Essentially, for those that know about JavaScript, they will know that JavaScript does not actually have things like integer, variable, string, or double, like stuff that you would define in like C# or Python or anything like that. So TypeScript allows us to add that stuff back into JavaScript for whatever reason. So hooks. They were designed to be a replacement for classes to simplify creating components. They are often dynamic or reactive based on user input or if there's any update to the page. There are 3 basic hooks: use state, use effect, and use context, as well as 7 additional hooks. But of course you can always build your own, and hooks always start with use, and they use Pascal casing. And I'll have a graphic for you to explain what that is on the next slide. But you can also only call them at the top of the function underneath function app, so it's like function app, and then underneath it it'll be hook, use hook. And they won't work in classes, so keep that in mind. So here I have a comic made by Pebblechuck, and I've modified it to fit my needs, but it'll tell you about the different 3 main cases that most people use in programming. So we have Pascal casing, which is a capital, like title case, every single word is capitalized, no spaces. Snake cases, every word is lowercase and the spaces are underscores. And then camel case, which is a lowercase first letter and then capital letters after that. So hooks require you to use the Pascal case in order to function properly. So React components are JavaScript functions. Components in React are the code blocks representing the UI elements. These blocks are reusable and independent like functions in JavaScript and are responsible for representing the elements on the web page. Every application you will develop in React will be made up of pieces called components, and the components make the task of building UIs much more easier. And you can see a UI broken down into multiple individual pieces called components, and you can then work on them independently and merge them all into a parent component, which will be your final UI. And so for an example, I have a video of mine, and everything on this page that you can see here is a component. And for example, we'll take my profile picture, and clicking on either one of my profile pictures will lead me to my YouTube channel. And if I were to comment on my video, and then you clicked on the profile picture on my comment, it will also lead me to my YouTube channel. And you can just do this across the entire site. You can just recycle that profile picture component across multiple different pages. So when HTML is read by a browser, it will create a tree-like structure called the Document Object Model, or DOM. It contains a node for each UI element present in the web document, and it is very useful as it allows web developers to modify content through JavaScript. This in turn allows us to use JavaScript to react to a user's interactions. For example, we can use JavaScript to hide an element when a button is clicked. And it can be difficult to manage all these JavaScript elements with bigger projects, but with React we can create small, efficient components which React will take over creating and updating DOM elements. So how it does this is actually a bit of a doozy. It uses real and virtual DOMs. So React utilizes a virtual DOM, which is a copy of the real DOM, and every time the DOM is updated, it needs to be completely redrawn. And so obviously this takes up a lot of resources, having to redraw the entire DOM every time something is edited. However, React's virtual DOM is just a mirror image of the real DOM, but the only difference is it does not get redrawn each time it is updated. Instead, React just compares the new virtual DOM against the old real DOM and see what has changed, and then finds the best way to make the changes, and only updated elements get redrawn. So obviously this will save a lot on resource and overhead without having to redraw the HTML every single time. So why should you care about React? There are a lot of jobs that are looking for React developers, and lots of corporations with a front-facing side that utilize React in order to be more efficient. And once you also get the basis of React down, you can also branch out into mobile development with React Native. Now I'm going to show you how to get started setting up an environment for React. Alright, here we are on my desktop. I'm going to try to do this the first try. And so the first thing we got to do, we got to go and get Node.js. I usually just download the latest version, click on that, save, and then over here I have it pulled. It's installed, and accept the terms and agreement. That's fine. Default is fine. I've tried to change it before and it didn't turn out too well, so I'm just going to leave it as default. Default, all of this is fine. And then I've also don't know if you need to install Chocolatey or not, but I'm gonna just go ahead and do it just in case. So I click check on that one, next, and then install. And then we're gonna be doing a little bit of waiting, so I'll probably cut back whenever it's back. Alright, so Node.js has finally been installed. And then there's another... Chocolatey also takes a good bit to install as well, unfortunately. But here it is. It opened up another dialog window, and you just click any key. I just press space, it seemed to work. It opens up another PowerShell. Click yes on that, and here it is. Looks like, for me, I've already done this before, so it looks like it's already good to go. So I can just click exit, but for you, it might take a little bit longer, so just keep that in mind. And it looks like we're all set up. Next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to open up command prompt, which I have right here. And I usually just do it on my desktop, so I go cd desktop. And I do want to note that I have like a couple of other drives on my computer, and my desktop on these other drives are bare. On my C drive, I keep it on a different SSD. So if I do there, it doesn't have anything except a couple of other files that I've already used to play around with this stuff. So that, just keep that in mind. It might not, if you have a system set up like mine and on a different thing, like your desktop's on a different thing, keep that in mind. That's all. For those that are into it, they know. But we're just gonna go ahead and do npm create vite at latest, or you can specify a version. I just do latest. And they want you to make a project name, so I'm gonna just do, we're gonna do Tony, and project name, confirm the project name, Tony, and we're gonna need to select the framework. I just do React because that's what this video is about. And TypeScript, make sure you select that because that is what we're trying to look for. And now they want us, it says the options that you want to run here, so they want you to cd into Tony and then npm install. So it's gonna do that for a little bit, and I'll come back to you when that's done. All right, so now that's done, we can do npm run dev, but I'm not gonna do that. We're gonna do code period, and that should open up VS Code like it does here. If I can, well, yeah, there we go. Whoops, here we go. And then, yes, I trust the authors. And here we are, we have all our files for Tony. And if we open up our terminal, and we can do npm run dev, so it'll start an instance of our web page. If we hold down control and then click it, it'll open up onto the side, and here we are. This is our own React web page, and you can just play around with the count. And that's one of the features of React, where this is a component right here, the count component. It can react to you pressing the button, and it'll I++ the count. So there you go. Thank you guys for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Please leave a comment if y'all have any questions. I probably won't answer them, but thank you guys once again for watching.